It's Henry Devries from Forbes.com and also the CEO of Indie Books International. So excited today to talk to one of our authors, Lisa Rehurik. And Lisa, how are you today?
I am fabulous, Henry. Thanks for having me. And how are you today?
Super good now that I'm talking to you. Let me
Oh,
just launch into these questions.
awesome.
So we all hear the word influencer everywhere in social media. How is being influential different than just simply being an influencer in your view?
Yeah, in my opinion, being an influencer is, you've got a huge community, you've got people that follow you, you've got a massive tribe, you're maybe selling stuff and making an impact in that way. But being influential to me is about making an impact to individual people and to people that are directly around you. Being influential means helping people rise up to their potential. And of course, when I'm talking about influential, I'm talking about positive influence. And so impacting people that you interact with on a regular basis, not just that huge, big community that follows you. That's the difference for me.
Okay, let's say someone decides today, this is the time to step into being influential. Now, what's the one actionable step that they should take right now?
I'm actually going to give you two steps, only because I feel like after I give you the first one, I feel like I'm going to leave people hanging. But the first step really is that you've got to consistently and consciously choose to develop your influential skills. Like, we're not just waking up in the morning and being deemed influential. It's a skill. You've got to build on that skill. And so you've got to consciously make the decision, I'm going to work on this consistently to develop that muscle, if you will. But then secondly, I would say the first way to do that is that you've got to learn about yourself. And this sounds a little bit crazy because people will be like, well, Lisa, of course we know ourselves. But it's interesting because we actually allow other people to influence us on a regular basis. And if we are not grounded in who we are, then we'll get derailed. And so understanding who we are at our core and where we want to be influencing from is the next step. So self-awareness, read, take self-assessments, journal to fully understand who you are, what you stand for, what you're not willing to compromise on, and that builds the foundation for truly being a positive influence in the world.
Okay. Know thyself and to thine own self be true. Okay,
Exactly.
next question. Lots of people talk about creating and using their influence. Lisa, how is your take different?
Yeah, my take is different because I think that most people out there that talk about how you've got to have great communication skills and you've got to, have all of these great skills, which are all super important. But again, it kind of goes back to what I was just saying. You've got to build this foundation of who you are, because to truly be influential in a positive way, it's got to be coming from a true sense of who you are. You can't emulate Henry Devries. You can't emulate Richard Branson or whoever it is that you look up to. You've got to do it in your own way. And so, yeah, you can get all that mentoring and guidance. That's all brilliant, but you've got to start with the foundation of you being true to you. Same thing I just said a little while ago. We're sensing a theme here, right? But
Right.
that's my different take on it.
Okay. Well, and thank you for mentioning me in the same sentence as Sir Richard Branson. That's a first.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. um, Now, some people hear the word influence and they think, well, that's only for certain people. That's only for the Sir Richard Bransons and all that. They have to be in some high level position. But what's your feeling on that? Does it have to be that way?
No, not at all. In fact, we all influence every day of our lives, whether we know it or not, right? We influence in really small ways, opening the door for somebody, a simple smile, which can make their day. And conversely, negatively, cutting somebody off in traffic, you're potentially influencing somebody in a negative way. So we all have the power to influence in very small ways and very big ways. And I would argue that the position doesn't always come before before the influence, right? Or the position, right? The position doesn't come because you're influent or before you're influential. It comes because you are influential. Woo! I was tongue-tied there. So a lot of times we get higher positions and we move up in life because of our position of influence. It's not the other way around. We don't just wake up and say we've got this position and you're deemed influential. So it doesn't matter. Influence doesn't discriminate based on a hierarchy. Again, it's a skill, so you can choose to do it anytime you want. But I will tell you, the more influential you are, the better you'll be able to rise up into whatever position, whatever that looks like for you. But it really doesn't discriminate.
That's great. It's like they say, dress for the job you want. So
Yeah,
act influential, like the position you want, to be the influencer you want to be. That's great.
absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, just because somebody has authority does not mean they have influence. And we've probably all worked with that person or been around that person that is, in a position of authority, but they're not influential because they've never taken the time to develop that skill. Again, it's a developable skill. We've got to work hard at that, not just wake up and think, oh, well, I've been told that I'm in this position, and so now I'm influential. It doesn't work that way.
Lisa, let's talk more about skill. In your book, you talk about 6 ways to be influential. Would you please share those with the listeners?
Absolutely. So I love sharing these because, of course, this is the basis for the book. And I think that, as I said earlier, you've got a lot of people out there talking about communication and taking action and all of those pieces, adding value, all of those pieces of the puzzle that are super important. But I have a little bit of a different twist. And I think in the book we call this the hidden secrets, because I think these are secrets that a lot of people don't talk about. The first one of my favorites, is screw expectations, meaning stop worrying about the expectations that everybody else has for you and think about what it is that you want. The second one is everything we've been talking about here. Know you, do you. So you've got to know who you are and stand in the power of that to be influential. Number 3, conquer your emotions. This isn't about not having emotions. It's just learning how to conquer them so they don't take control of you. Number 4, kick the yes men to the curb, the yes men. And this is, don't surround yourself with people that are just going to tell you what you want to hear. Surround yourself with people that are going to tell you what you need to hear. Number 5, ditch the excuses. We've all got them. They all come into play, but they do us no good. So get rid of those pesky excuses. And then number 6, which might feel a little bit harsh for some people, but quit whining and work hard. Work hard doesn't necessarily mean you've got to work 80 hours a week, but it does mean you've got to put the muscle behind what you want to achieve and make it happen. So those are the 6 hidden secrets.
Lisa, thank you so much for writing such a pragmatic book that can help so many people. And I loved your emphasis on positive influence. Thank you very much for sharing with us today.
Yeah, I loved it. Thanks for having me, Henry.